Welcome back on track with two wheels, and by way of change, we're going on four wheels. Haven't done this for a while, and it's the annual Quads for Quads run. Ballito all the way to Johannesburg. For some of us. It's Thursday morning and we are on the north coast town of Ballito in KZN. Glenn Foley has put this whole thing together.
You're going to go down into the valleys of Zululand now. It is absolutely fabulous.
That is Glenn Foley from Family Adventures and Quads for Quads here on two wheels. And a couple of years ago he came up with this idea of having an annual quad event from Durban to Johannesburg as a fundraiser for various charities. The main charity though being for quadriplegics and paraplegics, hence the name Quads for Quads. A couple of injuries along the way, which is to be expected, but luckily we've got Netcare 911 along for the ride on their specially prepared quads as well. So from Ballito through the mountains and forests of Natal, the first night they're going to be spending camping in KZN. A couple of breakdowns along the way, as you would expect, I suppose. 200 k's of riding on that first day. The second day we're going to Renan in Newcastle area, and along the way we're doing a lot of fundraising and charity events with local paraplegic organisations. It's an adventure of a lifetime for many of these riders. 4 days of quad riding. Imagine 900 k's of off-road riding from Durban to Johannesburg without hardly ever crossing a main road. A lot of recent rain just makes it more fun for these quad riders. And believe it or not, along for the ride we've got 6 paraplegics and 1 quadriplegic. And they're getting stuck in the mud along the way. Hats off to those quadriplegic and paraplegic riders who are really adventurers of note. A number of motorcycles along for the ride as well. But with 400 riders, 100 backup crew, quadriplegics. This is Ari Cerilis, who's a quadriplegic. Imagine this undertaking that he is doing here today. This has got to be some kind of world record for a person in that position. A well-recce'd route from Glenn and Family Adventures as we pull into Renan for that overnight stop. And all along the way we are handing out wheelchairs and blankets and all sorts of items for the paraplegics associations in this area. One of our lady riders showing us how not to climb through a ditch on a quad motorcycle. Keep that weight forward, don't forget that. Luckily no injuries there. So far the worst injury is a fracture to somebody's right arm. Glenn has also asked me to mention a couple of the sponsors along the way. MAN Trucks, Pick and Pay have sponsored snack packs along the way. Powerade have supplied energy drinks for all of these riders. We also have Nedbank and SA Breweries involved in the sponsorship here as well. KCI Medical have donated mattresses to the value of 170,000 Rand to be handed out. Ari has made it this far, and boy, what an achievement for this rider. And we will speak to him later on in this event. The total funds raised in this event, 800,000 Rand. And Family Adventures are going to hand over a cheque for 700,000 Rand to the Paraplegics Association. Kawasaki have put money in, as have Yamaha and Honda. East Rand Bike and Quad have donated 5,000 Rand. Sponsored quads from Pro Action, who've supplied a Prowler for Ari to ride. Can-Am have sponsored an Outlander Max for the organisers to use. Honda have sponsored a 680 Rincon, which is used as a sweeper vehicle at the back of this crew. Yamaha have sponsored a Rhino just to lug parts along on the trail. In the town of Kralingstad, we are going to hand over wheelchairs and blankets to those local organisations, and you can just see the absolute appreciation from these people who really do go out of their way to make lives easier for those in need. And isn't South Africa just the best place in the world to be riding quads and motorcycles, especially at this time of the year when the rivers are filling up? And as you know, boys will be boys. And have a bit of fun along the way. Family Adventures have mentioned that next year they're going to move it forward just a couple of weeks, so it'll be early in September, this run. Look out in your local press for details of that. How to wheelie a quad and drop passengers along the way. And finally, we're heading towards Brakpan, the end of this epic journey, and Glenn is going to take us through the closing proceedings.
We've recently just completed a 900-kilometer ride all the way from Ballito in Durban up to Carnival City in Gauteng. It's not Transvaal anymore. In the process, we've managed to raise in excess of 700,000 Rand. We took 400 riders with us and about 197 backup drivers or something. It's been absolute chaos, but it's probably been some of the most fun we've ever had. Karine, I'm going to pass on to you. Just share your thoughts about this one.
I just want to say thank you to all the guys who made this possible, who rode the route, and all the sponsors. It's been absolutely fantastic. It's been mind-blowing.
No, without the sponsors and things, we couldn't do it. But if you ride a quad or a motorcycle, maybe you should give us a call and we'll see you next year. This is Owen Sutton. He's in a wheelchair. Started riding a quad a year and a half ago. And this year, he did the whole route. Owen, give us a little bit of feedback. What did you think of the event?
I think the event is fantastic, and I just hope that it really empowers other quadriplegics and paraplegics to take part in events like this. Because I feel that once an accident happens, you think your life is over, but far from it. There's still so much that you can do. It just takes inspiration and it takes a bit of guts. And Ari's proof of that.
This is Alice Lewis from Nelspruit. She's done this event 3 times in a row. She's probably raised more money than any other single person for this organization. Alice, tell me a little bit about this year's event.
It was great. It was really great. This team spirit, and to watch Ari ride, hey, there's more inspiration than anybody else needs in life.
We're going to see you again next year.
Definitely, with more money.
Aha, fantastic. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, and thanks to Family Adventures for making this possible.
Thanks, ma'am. See you soon. Kawasaki were one of the first importers to actually sponsor this event. This is the 3rd year running that they've given us 5,000 Rand towards it. And this year is your 2nd time riding it, hey?
That's correct, Glenn, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. It's a really wonderful event. It's words, fail me. It's hard to describe how good it feels to do this event. To see someone like Ari, a quadriplegic, do it. The money that everybody raised, it's absolutely awesome. It's just, it just leaves me speechless. It really is fantastic, and it's an absolutely wonderful event. And I guess we have to thank you guys for what you're doing.
These are just a couple of the guys from Team Mobies. As a team, they've managed to raise in excess of 60,000 bucks for Kwasa this year. Boss man, what do you say?
This is probably the best event for the year. We'll do it next year. Up and down again, possibly.
Yeah.
And next year we're going to go bigger.
Kenny Gaynor from Ballito World Equipment. Sir, you managed to raise us 50,000 Rand. It's nice to see a corporate company getting involved in a social responsibility like this.
Glenn, absolutely. I think the work that Ari and Kwasa are doing are really good, and I think we as Ballito World Equipment are proud to be associated with the good work that they've done. I think at Kralingstad this morning I learned a hell of a lot handing out those wheelchairs. Some of those people I think only dreamed that they'd ever have a wheelchair one day. Marvellous. Please keep up the good work, you guys as well.
We certainly will, sir. We're going to see you again next year?
Without a doubt, absolutely. Let's see what we can raise for next year, starting now.
Mark, without you guys, I don't think anyone could run an event like this. Just give us some impressions and some feedback on what you feel about the event.
I think the event is well organised, it really is. From the medical side as well, I think without the supporting guys around with you guys, it wouldn't have been possible to actually get to the patients and that. And it's very difficult terrain to work at, very difficult to get patients out, but I think we coped.
I think that it would be fair to say that Ari Cerilis, the chairman of Kwasa, is the reason that we all do this in the first place. Ari, I'm going to hand the mic to you. I know how long-winded you are, but if you could just give us a brief pre-seed version of how you feel right now, having ridden the whole event.
Geez, Glenn, it's, the last 2 years we've been the beneficiary. And this time, for the first time, 6 paraplegics and 1 quadriplegic, being myself, have participated. I reiterate what I said to everybody here. I have to tell you, Glenn, that for the last 4 days, I never felt like a quadriplegic. I had the greatest 4 days of my life. It was unbelievable. And thank you. Really thank you. It's so difficult. And it was such a challenge. But everyone here, these guys, these quad bike riders, if you're battling, they pull you through. If you run out of petrol, they fill you up. If you're hurting, they massage you. If you cut, they bandage you. And if you completely buggered, they drip you. Just to make sure that you get to the end. So, thanks, Len. Thanks for opening the door, to people with disabilities to ride. Because maybe that will encourage others to do the same. But most importantly, you've made a huge contribution to the running of our organization, and so that we can deliver more and more products and projects for quadriplegics and paraplegics, and that's most important. My personal challenge is Mickey Mouse compared to what everyone else did here today. So thanks.